Hello and welcome to the new series where I'm going to go through all of the LeetCode problems in Python. This is the first problem, two sums. For this problem, we are given an array of integers nums and an integer target. Return indices of the two numbers such that they add up to a target. You may assume that each input would have exactly one solution and you may not use the same element twice. You can return the answer in any order. This problem gives us three examples to go off of. The input for the first example is 2, 7, 11, and 15 for the array and the target of 9. The output for this is 0 and 1, as that is 2 plus 7 equals 9, and the index for 2 is 0, and the index for 7 is 1. You can remember that in an array, it starts from 0, so that's why it's 0 and 1, and not 1 and 2. For example 2, our input array is 3, 2, 4, and our target is 6. The output for this is 1 and 2, which is 2 plus 4. And in example 3, our input is 3 and 3 with a target of 6, so our output is 0 and 1, which is 3 plus 3. So let's run through a quick example. We can have our input of 1, 2, 5, and a target of 7. So for this example, we are going to want to loop through our array and add up the values until we find two values that add up to our target. One thing to remember with arrays is that the index starts from 0. So in this case, we have 0, 1, 2 as the indexes. As we loop through this array, we can do 1 plus 2 does not equal 7. 1 plus 5 does not equal 7. So we have to move on to the second index. 2 plus 5 equals 7. And we can output that there, and the solution would be 1 comma 2, which correlates with 2 plus 5 equals 7. This solution is very easy to think of and straightforward, but unfortunately it doesn't scale very well. If we had a bigger array, or if our solution ended up being towards the end of our array, we'd have to loop through this multiple times, and that would be very slow. To speed up this solution, we can use a dictionary, and a dictionary is pretty much just a key value pair. So we will be using this to keep track of values we've already seen and the index at which we've seen it. So we can go through a quick example for this one using the dictionary. So in this case, when we go through our nums array now, we are going to take our value and its index and store it in our dictionary. So for our dictionary on this first one, we will see our value is 1 at an index of 0. So we'll store that as 1, 0. Once we store the value in the dictionary, we will want to calculate our complement for this value. So the complement will be equal to the target value minus the current value. So I'll just make this num. So in this case, it'll be equal to 7 minus 1, which is equal to 6. We can now use this value and look up in our dictionary to see if we've seen this value before. So looking in our dictionary, we don't have a value of 6, so we're going to want to move on to our next value. We're going to store our 2, which has an index of 1, and then we're going to want to calculate our complement. And so this next one will be 7 minus 2, which equals 5. And we'll take this value, look up in our dictionary, we'll see we haven't seen this value before, and we'll move on to the next one. So once we get to 5, we want to store it in our dictionary. We have 5 with our index of 2, and once it's in the dictionary, we want to calculate our complement, which will be 7 minus 5, which equals 2. And when we look up in our dictionary, we see that we have seen 2 before, and we take its index value and our current index value, and we just output those. So in this case, our output will be equal to 1 comma 2. And you can see from this example, we only have to go through the loop one time, which is much faster than the last solution, where we were looping through a couple of times. Let's jump into the code. So first thing we're going to want to do is define our dictionary. In Python, it's very straightforward. You just need to create curly brackets. Next, we're going to want to loop through our array. So I'm just using a quick for loop. And the first thing we're going to want to do is calculate our complement. You can see this is still target value minus num, which in this case is our current num value in the nums array. Next, we're going to want to check to see if we've seen the complement before by checking in the dictionary. If it's in the dictionary, we'll just return the 2 indexes of the values. And if we don't find the value in our dictionary, it means we haven't seen the value already, and we want to store our current number and its index in the dictionary as well. And once we've looped through all of our values in our array, if no two values added up to our target, we want to return an empty array. Okay, that's it for the code, so let's run this. Make sure there's no bugs. Looks good. All three cases passed. Let's submit. Looks like our solution was accepted, so that's it for this problem. If you want to see more problems like this, make sure to check out my channel. Thanks for watching.